Hi and welcome back. You might find it strange that we upload on Monday. It's strange indeed, because today is the first anniversary of our new channel, Hammer.
Yeah. Cheers.
And we've got something special for you. I can paint, I can edit videos, but first and foremost, I'm a player. But today we've got kind of models for you. We've spent the last weeks and months with. We don't do any painting challenges. Just wanted to show you what we've done, what we are working on, and what we are planning to do next.
Okay guys, here we have Saurus Old Blood, which will initially command my small lizardman Warhammer Fantasy Force. I painted the model in a rather unusual color scheme, using mostly white paint to reflect the luck of the old ones. Because as you know, the lizardmen, if they're born with white scales, they are favored by the old ones, and so I decided it's a good idea to paint my army commander in those white scales. The shield I paint in a vibrant red. I think it really contrasts very nice to the miniature. Okay. These are a choice of the rare section of the Lizardman Army book. It's a salamander, including 3 skinks. And I tried to paint him with I call it dot technique on his back. I painted yellow, orange and black as main colors, and painted a lot of dots in the opposite color in the main color sections. So, but I think the result is quite stunning. It's really an eye-catching salamander, including his 3 skinks, which will hopefully not be eaten up by him during the battle. These are my skinks. That was a lot of pain painting those guys, because you almost paint 24 times more or less the same miniature, and I mostly, especially for the body and the shields, I use contrast paints in order to achieve a rather quick result, but nonetheless, in my opinion, it's quite nice color scheme, especially the yellow-orange crest on the head and the yellow eyes are really an eye-catching object of the skinks. And what is still missing are, of course, as you have seen, the command unit, meaning the champion, the standard bearer and the musician, which will be painted in the next couple of months. Okay, this is one Elder Ranger painted by me. I've got his brethren still unpainted, still in metal, and I use this to figure out a color scheme which fits nicely, and I painted this with a rather light leather and the green for his cloak. I think there were released 6 or 7 different models, and I've got 1 each of the different models, so it will be a quite nice unit, because there are really 7 or 8 different Ranger models. Next we have an Elder Dire Avenger. Those are the most flexible aspect warriors, armed with a shuriken catapult, and it's as you've seen before as the Ranger, a test model. I just finished it yesterday, as you see the video. And it's mainly painted blue, and his helm crest yellow and red, and the helm itself mostly white. Here we have the Dark Reaper Exarch for the Elder of 40k, second edition. Maybe if you have watched our recent battle reports, you could have seen him in play.
He was one of the 3 survivors.
In former videos we used often an Dark Reaper Exarch from the 3rd edition, which looks also quite nicely, and maybe it's even more appropriate because this model doesn't carry a shuriken cannon. Sorry, not a shuriken cannon, a Dark Reaper missile launcher. But it's the original 2nd edition model, and it's I think a quite iconic miniature of the Elder range. Here we have this Swooping Hawk Exarch with his LES gun, a LES blaster and granite pack and wings, of course. I really love this model. I took a long time to paint it, especially all those feathers, and I glazed a lot of the blue colors for his head, but I think it paid well off.
Beautiful spirit stone.
Yeah, and spirit stones, and it's really vibrant colors, and I think reflects very good the spirit of the 2nd edition.
Reminds me of the one on the cover of the Codex.
Okay, and one more figure which I painted the last month is an Bretonnian archer. As before the Elder unit choices, I painted this model as a prototype to evaluate the color scheme. I used this white, green, brown color scheme, which I think fits very nicely to the Bretonnian archers. I hope that you enjoyed the miniatures which I presented you a moment ago, which I painted the last weeks, or rather months, maybe even in 2022 so far. What's up next? As we're still, I'm still struggling to get my Lizardman on tracks, but at least I have as you have seen, the skinks, one commander and a salamander, so I need one more unit so that I can officially play legally with according to the rules. So my next unit will be Saurus Warriors. That are again a lot of models, so I think in the absolute near future I try to switch to the 40k, and as you have seen, I just finished my test model for the Die Avengers, and I think I paint 6 more of them, so I have the normal unit size of 7 for the Elder Aspect Warriors.
And maybe you've got enough models for our standard 2000 points of Elder one day.
I think then I have to I need to paint the Elder Dreadnought as well.
Falcon, maybe?
No, I have a Falcon.
Oh, that's great.
Falcon and Fire Prism, I have one each. But the Dreadnought has to be painted, but I think it should paint up rather fast because they are rather large surfaces, and I think it's easier to paint than the Exarchs or the Aspect Warriors indeed. And as it is soon Markus' birthday, at the moment I'm painting his birthday present, but I of course will not reveal the miniature yet. Maybe you see it in a future army presentation of Markus.
I hope it's a Warlord Titan.
Oh yeah, almost. Okay, that are my future plans. Saurus Warriors, painting more Dire Avengers, and maybe some surprises.
Okay, getting back into painting wasn't planned, but we started buying Warhammer Fantasy armies about 2 years or 3 years ago and got most of the stuff painted, but some models are really nice to have or especially difficult to get painted. So I ended up with a 1000 point Orcs and Goblin force with an unpainted commander. And so that's the reason why I looked for my old Citadel Games Workshop colors and used, well, or spent 1 week on this model.
The Orc or Goblin rider looks really cute with his tiny red eyes.
It's a Forlorn Hope Games miniature. Okay, and after having found my colors, I said let's paint some more models, because back then, when we were maybe around 20, Alex and I both owned a Warhammer Fantasy army. We only played once at a convention, and we hadn't read the rule books, so we tried to use Warhammer 40k rules and were advised by 10-year-olds. And this was our first and last game. I kept my wood elves from back then. Alex had a cool, I think, Orcs and Goblins army, but sold it at a later point. So that's the reason for my wood elves army being unpainted, because we've spent the last 30 somewhat years playing Warhammer 40k, but I kept my army. So, but my aim was to have at least the wood elves for the 1000 points list. So I replaced my unpainted Eternal Guard with the Dryads, where I had painted some of the models and only had to paint 4 or 5 of them. And I was lucky because I also had some painted Treekin. So the last models I'm working on at the moment are the 12 archers. Okay, in case of the archers, I'm facing big problems because they don't wear helmets like Space Marines, and painting faces or skin takes a lot of time. So the hair has been done, the bows have been done, but there will be many hours left till I got my wood elves. And the other project I did simultaneously is this one. Okay, we have been using the Dark Elder in 2nd edition for the last lots of years, and so I decided to get at least the 1000 point standard army list for them ready, and therefore I've already painted several normal models like the Scourges and 5 warriors with assault weapons, and at the moment I'm working on 5 out of the 9 warriors with splinter rifles and the splinter cannon, and then I've only got my leader left on the skyboard, as well as 5 incubi and the raider. Should be finished within the next 2 or 3 months. Okay, as you can see, there's a huge gap in my corn area. This is where their fellow old Rogue Trader Chaos Marines should be. They haven't been painted yet and are still to come. And behind them I've got 10 cool old blood letter Rogue Trader models, which I still have to assemble. Okay, as you have seen, there are lots of other models. Maybe I'm going to get rid of some of these other Chaos factions, because Alex was the first Chaos player and he has got truck loads of Chaos. But I like the corn stuff, so therefore I like to do this. What's next after corn? Maybe in fall, maybe towards Christmas. So, talking of painting and assembling, there's a little more to be done in case of the orcs. After having sold my Great Gargant and the 3 Stompers and most of my Gobsmashers, most of the normal infantry fits on this level, but I've got some other shelves still occupied with the bikes and other tanks. Maybe we'll see them afterwards, looking for the squads. Yeah, as you've seen, the problem is you will definitely need more than 10 orcs and Gretchens even for a 1000 point army, and therefore I think I will spend, even in winter, if there's less gardening to do, I spend several months painting alone the 50 or 60 models for our 1000 point army list, especially as you don't get them well painted.
Yeah, I was thinking about if you maybe acquire them via eBay or some other sources, but as you're right, they are all rather they are unpainted or often badly painted, or
most of these old models suffer from really bad paint jobs from around 1993
thick coat
by 14-year-olds. Yeah. Here we've got more of them, and here's the last army. So, and this is the last army I would like to have done within the next 12 months. I think they are really great. I had a squad army and sold it, and when Games Workshop announced they'd bring out squads again, I gambled. I thought, well, maybe you pay a lot of money and the new models look much better. Nobody wants the old ones. But I said, I like them very much. So I rebought at least a small force of, let's say, 2,000 or 3,000 points in second edition, and I wanted to get them done. I've got other armies, of course, as you can see in the following pictures, but as Alex has got a beautifully painted Imperial Guard force, there's no sense in using my time on the Imperial Guard as long as we have got completely unpainted armies. Or Space Wolves. Space Wolves are a great force, I like them very much, but we've got Alex Blood Angels, we've got my Dark Angels, and it's the same with the others. Okay, thanks for watching.
Catch you next time, bye!